It doesn't matter if you're 20, 25, 30, 35. This episode is for you because today we're going to be talking about how to stay at a high elite level as you start to age. You want to take note of this if you're somebody that's younger, but the guys out there who are getting a little bit older, maybe even in your 40s, who are still wanting to be competitive, there's lots of notes here that are going to help you stay young. So with my karate combat debut in the books, you can check out the full fight up there. You can also take a look at my breakdown of the fight. That was something that I just put out the other day. That'll be an option as well. With the karate combat debut in the books, what I'm seeing in the comments is a lot of people going, wow, Gabriel, you beat somebody 11 years younger than you. You're 37, but still looking so sharp. And I want to take this episode to address the things in particular that I've done over the past 15, 16 years to make sure that at 37, I feel in the best shape of my life. Now, obviously, when I fought for, the glory belt or against Kevin Ross or Lerdsila, I was in tip-top shape. I pushed myself so hard. But in this last training camp, we have to look at the fact that I had 2 full years without competition. And that right there is something where you're going to just decline. And I didn't notice it until I started up my training camp for this fight in my karate combat debut. And I went, oh my gosh, normally I'd be starting up here, but I'm way down here because during that 2 years, you just kind of slump just a little bit. I didn't have a hard training camp and my body got a little too much of a break. So coming back and going, wow, I feel this good at 37 was incredible. Imagine how great I'm going to feel in my next fight with this one now behind me. So let's take a look today and talk about things that I do to make sure as you're progressing through your life, not just career, but just your life, you're going to stay super, super fit and super happy with the way your body feels. And the very first thing is almost going to be me preaching at you. This is not going to be all the tips, but this one in particular is just stop abusing your body. There's just so many things you don't want to be putting in your body, things that are just going to damage it. Drugs, alcohol, terrible foods, and too much of it. Just you want to make sure you're avoiding damaging your body with those sort of things. And that's just something that pretty much all of those have never even been introduced into my life. Never had drugs, never smoked cigarettes, never had alcohol, the mediocre garbage food, probably like I can't even say once a year over the past decade. Maybe once every 3 years, I'm bad and I have go to a buffet or something like that. And then I feel terrible and I go, I'm not doing that again. So that's so infrequent that it's pretty much almost never for me. I truly believe that not damaging my body, not succumbing to those things which are going to be terrible for it, has just made a world of difference. And that's one of the reasons I'm still feeling super in shape and super young at 37. Next up, I want to talk about staying consistent, because a lot of people, they do their fight, they peak out, they're in such good shape, and then they go, and they take this big break and they eat a bunch of garbage food and, abuse their body like we just talked about, but then they ramp back up and they get in really good shape, and it's just this wave of up, down, up, down. For me, it's always just, I'm consistent. And then obviously when I'm in training camp, I'm going to up the activity levels, but nothing else really changes. It's not like I change up my diet. It's not like I change up the way I live my life, the healthy aspects of it. I stay consistent. And let me tell you, you don't miss the things which are bad on your body. You might think you do at first, but once you get consistent, as I said before, I've been doing this now for 16 years. And when I was younger, I used to have times where I'd be a little bit harder on my body with the garbage food I'd put in, the late nights, all that kind of stuff. But now being consistent, I feel good all the time and I do not miss it. The next thing is mindset. I want to talk about mindset because I truly believe it can fully affect how you feel. I want to give you an example. Just the other day when I was in Florida, we had somebody who was part of the event, and I was chatting with them and they were going, oh, yeah, good for you still getting in there. They didn't know how old I was, by the way, but they were going, oh, good for you for getting in there. I'm too old for this now. My body's broken down. They were just, had a little rant about how hard it is when you get older. And then I went, oh, how old are you? And they go, 35. Oh, Okay, I'm 37 and I'm about to get in the ring and I'm feeling awesome. So I think a lot of it is that mindset that if you kind of go, oh, you know, anything past 20 is over the hill, you start giving up and you start kind of just letting yourself dwindle down and don't get as strong. If anything, in your 30s, I think you should be in better shape than you were in your 20s, and you're going to definitely be stronger than you were in your 20s. So switch that mindset that your 30s, your 40s, and according to my father, even your 50s, you're going to feel great. My dad is now 65, and he says he feels like, you know, he's slowed up a little bit now, but he still goes. So what you want to do is just get rid of that negative mindset that your 20s are your prime, and after that, it's all downhill. It's not true. Absolutely not true. Moving on, we are now talking about after the fight. What are you doing directly after? So I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I did, and I'll make some suggestions. So I had my fight and I got back to the hotel. As soon as I got back, there's always people who are doing little parties, whether it's in the hotel, whether they're heading out. Granted, I don't really know anybody there, but it wouldn't be difficult to find other people to go out with. But instead, I do the same thing every time. And it might sound boring, but I head back to my hotel room. I get on the phone with my wife or my family, I talk to everybody, and then I get in the bath. And I just decompress. I get in there and I relax. And I enjoy the fact that I got my win. In terms of food, I usually stay really healthy that night because I just put my body through a lot of hard work. And just, you know, shoving it like we talked about full of garbage is not going to make me feel good. I've already got a little bit banged up. I don't want to feel worse. So just getting in the bath, taking the night to just decompress, relax, and then wake up in the morning feeling good, it is so important. If I was to go out and party and, you know, do the drugs and alcohol thing and stay up way too late, then it's just extra trauma on your body, which is going to shorten the length of your career, and it's going to just make it difficult, very difficult, I think, for you to get into those later 30s and still be able to compete at a high level. So take the rest time after the fight. It's just something that I truly believe will help, and somebody who I actually sort of, I don't want to say learned this from, but reinforced it for me was Bernard Hopkins. He is somebody who competed and won world titles into his 50s and said you need to get in the bath after the fight, you need to make it your time, you don't want to go and party. Next, I want to talk about our training time and training volume, because when you're young, you can get in there and you can do 2-3 hour sessions, really long, really hard, but as you get older, you're going to recognize that, okay, is this the smartest way to train? And my go-to way to train now is to go really hard, but condense it as small as possible. So even when I'm in the heat of training camp, the part where I'm pushing the most, and that would probably be about 3 weeks away, I'm getting up, I'm doing probably 60-70 minutes of cardio, usually in the form of running, and then after my break, moving into the afternoon, I'm looking at probably 90 minutes. And all said and done, I'm under 3 hours of training time in the day, but man, I'm pushing hard. And as you can see in this fight, I'm in shape, I'm ready to go. And it's just a matter of recognizing volume versus intensity and what is going to serve you best. Now, of course, everybody is different. Every person needs different types of training, but for me, this is ideal. I've tried all the different versions, you know, in Thailand, the long versions, the super short versions. I've played around with it, and this is what works for me. Next, I want to talk about you starting biohacking. Now, I'm actually going to do an episode on this with my wife tomorrow. And we're going to talk about everything, all the tools, everything that I used in this training camp to help get me the win. If you're unfamiliar with biohacking, as I understand it, it's basically using science to improve your body. So it could be as simple as throwing some LED pads on a sore muscle. Or it could be taking magnesium, the Biooptimizer's magnesium, which I'm always talking about, and will be linked down below. You can grab that. That's biohacking. You can get into cold water. There are so many things you can do that are going to help your body and involve a little bit of science. I think that's the basic definition, but my wife will break this down properly for you tomorrow because she's a bit of an expert in this area. But what you can do right now is just start incorporating small additional things. They're going to help your recovery, help your performance. There are so many. You guys make sure you get subscribed to the channel so you do not miss tomorrow's episode, because that's going to be a goldmine of information, especially for those people looking to improve their athletic performance and slow down the aging process. And the last thing I want to talk about, which is going to help you increase the longevity of your career, stay fit, stay healthy for just as long as possible, is making sure you listen to your body when it comes to workout. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's give you an example. Whenever I try and lift heavy weights, I injure myself. It doesn't matter if I have a personal trainer who's spotting me, who's correcting my form, I still get injured. And I used to really try and push this when I was fighting for glory. I was really trying to make this happen to get stronger, but I just went, in the end, I'm getting stronger, but I'm missing training sessions because I'm getting damaged. So it kind of just balances out. If anything, I'm feeling more of negative effects from it. So I eliminated the heavy lifting. Now, for some people, they might hate running because it's damaging on their knees, their ankles, but the heavy lifting is spectacular for them. They feel great. This is all about you listening to your body, and not just in terms of running, swimming, lifting weights, that kind of stuff, also in terms of the way you train. Because some gyms you go to are going to ask you to spar something like 12 rounds a couple times a week, and you might go, this is not for me. My body hates it. And other people will thrive on it. You just really have to dial in sometimes and just go, okay, what is my body telling me? Because if you listen, you know exactly what to do. It's something that I've become a bit of an expert in, listening to my body. I don't need to go to loads of people to tell me what to do. I can just focus in, feel what's happening, and go, yes, this is good, or no, it's not. And all of these tips I gave you today, I think will help people reach their late 30s like I am, or their early 40s, or even their late 40s, and still be able to get into the gym and train 100%. This is a goal of mine that I want to make sure by the time I'm in my late 40s, I'm still training the way I am now. I might not be fighting at that point. I might choose to retire, take a step back, protect my brain, but I want to be able to go and spar with the young guys, train a couple times a day in between my teaching, in between whatever programs I'm offering, and make sure that I am just staying fit and loving life. So if you guys enjoyed the tips for today, please give the video a like. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here tomorrow for a biohacking episode with my wife.